Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to another dope-ass video. Just ignore that. That intro was only meant for two people. You guys know who you are. But what's up, everybody? My name is Brandon. Welcome back to another episode of Murata Media. In today's review, I will be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. I know that I'm a little late to the party with this one. This movie's been out for almost a month, but I just got around to seeing it over the weekend, and I really wanted to talk about it because I have a lot of thoughts. So Sonic the Hedgehog is about Sonic, who else, as he lives in the small town of Green Hills, Montana. And when he makes a dumb mistake that reveals his existence to the world, he goes on the run with James Marsden from the evil Dr. Eggman. He's called Dr. Robotnik in the movie, but I never called him that. He was always Dr. Eggman. Sonic actually calls him Dr. Eggman a few times in the movie. I don't know why, because it's never really explained, but whatever, let's just get into the review. Originally, Sonic was supposed to be released in late 2019, but due to his very controversial character design, the release date was pushed back to this year. And there's some more things that I wanted to say about the redesign, but I'll get to that at the end. So with this movie pushed back due to its redesigns, there had to have been some good things about it, right? And thankfully, there is. Namely, Sonic's redesign. I think it looks great. I personally didn't hate the original model. I mean, it wasn't that good, and I understand why people are upset, but if they decided to keep it, then I would have been okay with it, truthfully. I personally love Ben Schwartz as Sonic. I thought he did a really good job, because his voice just sounds like the kind of voice that you associate with the character of Sonic. Jim Carrey also did a really good job as Dr. Eggman. You could tell that he was just allowed to have free reign over this movie and do whatever he wanted. The movie truly embraces its absurdity, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, which I really respect. And Sonic as a character actually had a lot more depth to him than I thought. I really loved his character arc and where they were going with it. But I'm very sad to say that that is about all the good things that I have to say about Sonic the Hedgehog. I have a lot of issues with it. Some are nitpicks and some are things that genuinely bothered me, so let's start with the little stuff first. First off, the pacing in this movie is so fast. And I guess that's fitting since it's Sonic, but it doesn't really take its time to develop anything. And this is apparent right at the beginning when we're learning about Sonic's origins. He lives in this land that appears to be Green Hills from the video games, and his guardian, who I think her name was Longclaw. Sonic just crashes into her house, wakes her up, they get attacked by some locals, I don't know, it's never explained what they are. And she gives Sonic this bag of rings, like the rings that you see in the video games, and she tells him that he needs to run away to another land where he'll be safe. And so a ring is thrown and it opens this portal to Earth, because, you know, I guess that's an ability that these rings have now. And I'm not even exaggerating. That all occurs within the first minute and a half. There's also a lot of cringy dialogue, which is expected since this is basically a kid's movie, but some of the jokes were just cringeworthy. Like, there's a scene when Sonic is talking to James Marsden and telling him about this other planet that he can go to that's basically just a world of mushrooms, which is a very obvious dig at Mario and Nintendo. And James Marsden tells him something along the lines of, "You'd fit right in there. I mean, you're a fun guy." And my next complaint is somewhat of a mixture of a nitpick and an element in this movie that I hated. Sonic flosses. No, not with his teeth. He does the floss dance. You know, from Fortnite, that dance that every kid does when they're shown on the Jumbotron at a basketball game. Yeah, he does that. He does it twice. It just reminded me more and more why I can't stand Fortnite. There are also quite a few scenes that are very reminiscent, if not rip-offs, of other movies. Specifically this scene that takes place in a bar where time slows down. It is pretty much a rip-off of the Quicksilver scene from Days of Future Past. There's also this sequence toward the end where time slows down and Sonic is kind of just taking his time and being goofy about the whole thing. And it really reminded me of a scene from the movie Over the Hedge where one of the characters drinks a soda and time slows down. There are so many moments too that just left me scratching my head because they really didn't make any sense. Because at the beginning of the movie, Sonic drops his bag of rings on this rooftop in San Francisco, and when they go back to San Francisco, Sonic sees the building, he's like, that's the building my rings are on. And James Marsden is like, well, how do we get up there? Sonic runs away and immediately comes back and he's like, you need a key to get to the roof. And right after he finished saying this, my buddy and I looked at each other and said, why doesn't he just run up the side of the building? Instead of doing that, they go inside of the building and tell the lady at the front desk that there is a jumper on the roof and they need to get up there immediately. Because I didn't mention this, but James Marsden's character is a cop and he shows her his Green Hills Police Department ID. And at first she's baffled by this because she's like, you drove all the way from Montana to stop a jumper in San Francisco? And there's also like no public outside looking up at the jumper as he's getting ready to jump. And I'm fairly certain that her supervisors didn't inform her of a jumper on the roof and to be aware of anything that might happen. So what does she do? She goes, oh, well, here you go. There's your key to the roof. Have a good time. Oh my God, man. And I'm not against the concept of product placement in movies, but Sonic the Hedgehog has some of the most shameless product placement that I've ever seen. But it's not nearly as shameless where it's a Transformers movie. It's not that bad. But what I really want to know is, how fat was the check that Olive Garden shelled out to fund this movie and get their name on screen? They literally recite the Olive Garden slogan, and then at the end a character gets an Olive Garden gift card as a thank you. In both these moments, I just laughed and rolled my eyes because it was beyond ridiculous. But this movie's biggest sin is that it's very boring. One of the biggest components of this is that it doesn't properly utilize Sonic as a character, specifically when it comes to his speed. Because in the moments where he does run fast and there's action going on, it's pretty entertaining, but those scenes are so few and far between. Whose bright idea was it to put Sonic, a creature that can run up to 300 miles per hour, in the passenger seat of a truck for a good majority of the second act? Now, I know what a lot of people who are watching this are going to say, like, oh, dude, it's a kid's movie. You can't think too hard about it. You're being too overly analytical. And I am here to say that that does not mean that this movie is immune to criticism. Because there are movies that can appeal to both kids and adults simultaneously. And unless you're an adult with kids who were interested in seeing this movie, then I'm really not sure why it would appeal to you at all. And this is coming from a huge Sonic fan. I own a good majority of Sonic's video games. I woke up and watched the Sonic cartoon every morning before I went to school, and even I didn't find this movie appealing. And even though I did not think Sonic the Hedgehog was a good movie, I'm honestly very happy that I supported it with my money. And this is where I'm gonna get more into Sonic's redesign, because after that initial trailer came out and everyone just was up in arms about Sonic's character design, the studio decided to redesign him. And since this movie released, the studio that was in charge of that redesign has shut down. Was this redesign really worth hardworking, underpaid animators losing their jobs? And it seems like it really was worth it for them, because most people, to my knowledge, are loving this movie. And even though I didn't like this movie, I am very happy that people are enjoying it. And so that's why I would like to say that I really believe you should support this movie in any way that you can financially. See it in theaters multiple times, buy it on Blu-ray in a few months, I don't care. I just think the least we can do to show those animators that their hard work was worth it is to support this movie with our money. And I really truly stand by that, even though I did not like this movie at all. But all that being said, I would still give Sonic the Hedgehog a 4 out of 10. I really wanted to like this movie. I really did, but it just wasn't for me. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for watching my review of Sonic the Hedgehog. If you guys saw this movie, let me know what you thought about it. Did you think that it was really good, or are you in the minority like me and thought that it was really bad? If you guys like this video, then be sure to hit that thumbs up, and if you want to see more reviews like this, then hit that subscribe button. If you want to see my past videos, I'll link those right over here. Other than that, I hope you all have a tremendous rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.